Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the ZRC GT3 Season 1 Round 2, and Happy New Year from myself, and also the ZRC team. Oh, jeez, I'm a bit rusty after the Christmas break and the New Year and all the fun that went with that. Hopefully you didn't miss all the racing action over the course, and I can tell you we have got drivers out tonight that are veering for the front race. And I've got front pack. Gotta say, really glad that round 2 we're going to be having a bit of fun right here at Brands Hatch. Personally, one of my favorite circuits to go racing, and it's one that is for the books. A very technical circuit, very tight, and can cause a massive upset for our drivers, especially on cold tires. Watch out as they head through Paddock Hill Bend, as that is a mainstay issue. If you get the balance wrong, you can throw yourself into the dirt. Rejoining the circuit is a bit more difficult. Hard braking into Druids, that hairpin to try and get yourself sorted. That is the turn 2. And then you carve your way through, head into Surtees, right your way through to Hawthorne Bend, flat out, get in the draft and try lock up on the inside of your competitors to get the 1, 2, 3 pass. Then you've got the triple corners. I tend to call a very difficult one because you've got to just take just enough curb to get yourself by, not enough to get an off track, but a little bit too late and you fall off the circuit. Hard braking into Surtees, we're going to see lots and lots of passing there. And finally you head into Clark Curve, our final corner, a long right-hander that requires you just to feather the throttle, then give it everything she's got, especially in these GT3s. Use that aero that you can power your way through. And also taking a look first to the box is Michael Schultz going and jumping up to the front. Good to see him out there and having a bit of fun. As far as I'm aware, he's also going to be racing this evening, so good to have you there. And really looking forward to it. Another one, Jamie Green, boogity, let's go racing. Yes, I love the NASCAR reference. I haven't been there, I haven't heard it for such a long time. What was the other one that the guys tend to enjoy? Was, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, start your engines as you go and hear the roaring V8s. But tonight we're going to be hearing quite a few others. Dylan from Sarko. Hello. A name that has been around the block more than once in the world of sim racing, and head of the Sarko joining in to see the drivers that battle it out, not only in his championship, but in a few others as well. So getting a scope on the competitors and also going and supporting his mates that are out on circuit that will be having a bit of fun this evening. Good to have you guys here. Welcome to Brands Hatch. This is round 2. If you like the racing, if you want to have a bit of fun, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button along with the bell notification icon. But who wants to go and see a static track map and listen to my voice? No, ladies and gentlemen, let's go down to quali. As our drivers take to the circuit, you can see we have got Alan Patterson of PWSR lined up. He is trying to get a little bit more of a run and is hoping to power his way through the order. Then we've got Harry Duper C out there, ready to have a great bit of fun as well. So there's also the reference of shake and bake. Well, first we've got to have a fallout and we've got to do well. We've got to get rich. Then have a fallout. I've got to run around like I'm on fire, land up being put insane, and then we make up at the end. That's a shake and bake. And yeah, I love the Talladega Night references. I love it. All right, so we've got Jean Leroux, Harry Duplessis, Daniel De Villiers is out on circuit, as well as Tim the cameraman back for 2024. And yes, still looking at the birds, the trees, and everything else. And we've got Sean Benning, along with Werner Skuman, Johan van der Merwe out on the track. Hannes Boyers, a new name that I've seen but has been racing for quite some time. Rian Heineke, Michael Schultz, also out on track and was the first to the comments. Chris Heineke, still waiting in the pits. Alan Patterson, Ulrich de Jager out on track. Cole DeWitt, Darren Miller, Charles Darden, Andre Serradio, Jason Farmer, Etienne Mouton, Vessel Wooder, along with Sean Lerero, Jan Krobler, Rowan Cilliers. SESA is out on the track once again. Paul Pinky Toe Fenter, and I'm going to say it first. Paul, I also managed to break the pinky toe, so you and I are in that same realm. Don't stress. Ren van der Reist on the circuit. Lucas Jabert, Tianas Buerta, Iri Murray, Mahath Musa, Kieran Patterson, Issam Domingo, Hannes Greiling, along with Mark Hamby and Eric Kirstein. Now taking to the circuit, it is going to be an absolute flyer. Round 1 was very, very close, but now we're going to see what happens for round 2 around Brands Hatch. Plus, we had the bomb news that got dropped in driver's briefing. I've been told it's confidential, but 2024, I got a live microphone, so I'm going to say it. Sorry, Essie. Mark the date, 9th of March. ZRC will be bringing you the ACC Bathurst 1000. So ZRC will run their first Bathurst 1000 right here on ACC on the 9th of March. Team up with your mates to have a bit of fun. Bomb drop, there we go, drop the mic, walk away, had it all. So with my voice being a little bit on the irritating side, I would say let's bring in a little bit of the engines as we need a bit of sound on this. Dylan saying Paul the wall. Yes, he was the wall and the rig and whatever else was in the way at one point. Even raced with the pinky toe. So Andre Serradio out in first place, putting a 123.8. Paul Fenter up into second place, going and letting that VTEC kick in on the Honda. He's having a huge amount of fun. Jason Farmer also going and moving himself into third place. Vernus Kuman trying to come back at the time. Then you got Ruan Hanukkah going and having a bit of fun. Etienne Mouton going and dropping off a circuit Calderwood, managing to move himself up into 7th. And SESA is dropping himself into 5th place in the Porsche Newcastle scheme, going and being done by Russ, his teammate, going and putting in the show. And the one single request that was asked was don't scratch it. So let's see if he can keep it all on the black stuff. Rensselaer is trying to move his way up. Charles Darden from the Project Vapor team, still sporting that South African flag. Good to see it out there. And also away from what he originally had was a sun-bleached car. He's gone and made it a little bit more live. Johan van der Merwe in a Red Bull McLaren going and powering his way through, trying to get a little bit more of a run. Sean Lerero, LTR, going and representing once again, sporting all the MSI over it, and also Nag on the door. So the LTR team really getting a bit into the world of esports and bringing in the brands as well, but it's going to have to fight it out against some of the quicks. Jan van der Merwe puts himself into first place. Rion Heineken down into second. Michael Schultz putting himself into third place in the Martini colours, going and sporting a little bit more of a classic at this time, with a bit of a twist as well. Sean Benham going and having a bit of fun as he pounds his way into fourth place. Paul Fenter down into fifth. Mahath Musa going and doing what he does best, going and taking the BMW right up to the front. He's lying in 8th place at the moment. He is 0.2 of a second up on his previous time. Let's see if that will be enough to chuck him up through the order. Time starting to roll down. We're down to a 122.8 set by Kieran Patterson. So Kieran's not holding back right here. Mahath Musa 123.3. So he's trying to pick up the pace and try and chase him down. Johan van der Merwe also doing everything he can to make it all work. Ron Heineke going and having a bit of fun. He's up into 4th place and hoping to take the Dragon right to the front. That MSI Dragon, the LTR, going and having a bit of fun. And are they running the LFM BOPs here at the likes of ZRC? Well, I'm going to be honest. No, there isn't the BOPs that put in play. It's keeping it plain and simple. Plain Jane, get in, have fun, go and racing with your mates. And tonight, we have got 2 servers that are running, and both are being broadcast. So I'm going to ask everyone here that's going and enjoying all the racing and looking forward to all the fun, please also go over our AMs are racing. Go and jump over to their stream, send some love, go and say you're coming from the pros, you heard it, and go give a bit of support there as well, because we got 2 servers having a run, both being live streamed, which is great stuff. A big thank you to our brave volunteer going and looking after that as well. Unfortunately, no live commentary, but you still get to see the awesome action. Nothing wrong with that. Charles Darden down in 11th place. Jason Farmer going and coming off the circuit. And he has just parked it. He's got his time now. He's going to be going and chatting to the team, figuring out what they can do in the next 7 minutes and 30 seconds to move up. Chris Heineke a little bit down. He's in 14th place, so he's trying to get that little bit more pace underneath him. Caldevet going and racing the Cole. And link for the second server. That's up. Right, no problem. I can grab that for you guys right now. Give me 2 seconds. Who says a man can't multitask? Well, I can't. But at least the moderators can. Big thank you to the moderators. Moving on, back to the racing action. Kieran Patterson a little bit slower this time. Got caught up in a bit of traffic trying to utilise the tow. And has done a 124 on his last lap. So that 122.8 still standing. Mahath Musa trying to get a little bit closer to him. But let's go through the field. Mahath Musa, Sean Benham, along with Darren Miller, going and having a bit of fun. Charles Darden in 5th, 6th, Johan van der Merwe, along with Ruan Heineke. Hades Boyers, SES Ace. Michael Schultz down in 10th place. Moving out of our top 10, we got Paul Fenter, Daniel de Villiers, Jason Farmer, Chris Heineke, and Carl de Vet, along with Sean Herrero, Ruan Celiers, Werner Skuman, Andre Saradia, Ira Marais going and having a bit of fun. Harry Duplessis in 21st. So, Issam Domingo in 22nd, 23rd, Sean LaRue, Etienne Matan, Vessel Wooder, Jan Krobler, Elric Jager, along with Hannes Schreiling, Ruan van der Reist, Tianas Boertes, Mark Hanbury, and Lucas Jabert, followed by Eric Kirstein at the back of the field at the moment, trying to move up. The Hybrid Academy tryhards. I like that. That's going in a nod to their sister team. So, Kieran Patterson, the man's beat, the man up front. Let's see what he can do. And Mahath Musa trying to close down with the BMW. So, now the question comes out. What is going to be the front car? What's going to work well for the race? Is it going to be the mid-engines like Kieran Patterson's Ferrari 296? Is it going to be Mahath Musa's front-engine BMW? Will Sean Benham be able to make a move and claw his way up in the Porsche? Oh, in the Ferrari. Then we have got Darren Miller in the Porsche. He's going and clawing his way through. So will Miller be able to pull a rabbit out of the bag, get a little bit closer to his teammate? Well, only time can find out. And this track, as far as everyone knows, can be an absolute killer of note. If you had to pick a corner that can wipe you out, I think I've lost most races actually right here, turn 3, where you go and get the rear a little bit stepping out, runs you out wide, and you can go right onto the grass trying to bring it back. Very fast corner, very deceptive corner that you can either go and really lose it, and as we see, Boyer's going and parking it, deciding I couldn't quite get that lap all together. Maybe I can get out once again, but a couple of drivers opting that they're going to take it a little bit more easy for their running. Trying to shake the rust off. Haven't done this for quite some time. So I do apologize if I sound rusty, and well, let me know in the comments how it sounds. Are you guys enjoying this evening? And also, Dylan going and saying T1 in a pack is always daunting. Yes, when you're in the mid pack, it's the most, well, it's scary, really is. Or even if you're at the back of the pack heading into turn 1 and you just see yellow flags ahead of you, well, you can lift, but you know there's going to be cars everywhere. I don't know whether, even if you're in first place, you can just easily outbrake yourself or have someone dash up on the inside to go and catch you out. So it's going to be an interesting race indeed, with a lot of support. And I want to know, you guys, in the comments, who are you supporting this evening? Which team, which driver? Let us know. Dylan's already shouted out that let's go LTR, as he goes to have a bit of fun supporting fellow teammates this time round. But to everyone out there, please let me know, who are you supporting? Who's going to be the car that you're going to keep an eye on? And who, at the end of it, is going to be able to get that checkered flag? It is all open cards here. And take a look at Carl DeWitt, absolutely stonking time, a 1:23.072. That McLaren able to get a little bit more pace. Let's actually see if we can jump on board using the helmet cam. Out of turn 2, turn 3, now into turn 4. Slight lift in second, bring the revs up gently. Third, fourth, can nearly get to fifth gear, back it down to second, keeping a very, very tight line, trying to get a little bit in run. Oh, the McLaren just walking him off to the edges of the circuit, having to fight it out, flat out all the way. This is where you want the slipstream before you start giving a slight lift, a little bit of a break. Down into third gear. Some cars can take it in fourth, but very gently. The triple is always difficult. Third gear runs out wide, catches the McLaren. It's a little bit loose underneath him, but he's just trying to utilize as much pace as possible over the curb, and that's a bit of a problem. That's going to take his lap out of it. Hard braking into second gear, bring it up into third. Now towards the final corner, a gentle downshift. Can go in fourth to try and carry the momentum there. He's just taking a bit cautious and powers his way across the line. A bit of a sight of Brands Hatch. And here's the T1 we were talking about. Podium Hill. As you go down the hill, trying to get a little bit more of a drive towards turn 2 before slamming on the anchor. So a little thing like that can be quite daunting, and you wouldn't be too surprised to know that hill, well, that's a long way down indeed. So, with 1 minute and 15 seconds left of the race, Sean Benham trying to improve his lap time, wants to get ahead of Darren Miller. Mayath Musa also up on his last lap time by 0.1. Michael Schultz also getting a little bit more run. Been practicing all week, been trying to tinker with this car, communicating with everyone, trying to figure out what's going to be able with the Porsche, what is he going to do, and how is he going to work with tinkering with all the suspension rates to just carry a little bit more momentum. Comes towards the start line. Will this be enough to jump him out of 10th place? Yes, it moves him up into 9th. Cilios down into 10th. Charles Darden going and parking it off. Chris Heineke, 0.3 up as he made his way through turn 2. Now he needs to carry the momentum through. Paul Fenter down in 19th. He's also trying to carry a bit more momentum. Runs out wide, touches grass. Can he keep it all together? VTEC kick in? Yes, it did. Up into 11th place, right at the last. Andre Serradio trying to also battle it out in the Lamborghini GT3 Hurricane Evo 2. And let's see if it will be enough. 0.2 up on his last lap time. It's going to be a push. Keep going. You're in 18th place. Can he jump himself ahead of Issam Domingo? Powering his way through. And does so. 15th position. So great run for him. But one on a flyer that was on a flyer was actually Mark Ambry, but it looks like he came to a stop. Maybe the rear stepping out. End of qualifying though, so we will be moving towards our race, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, Danny, it is going to be absolutely fun. So, we've got support, and well, I think Carl needs a support for the drift. 10 out. I'd give about an 8 for a slide. For finishing out, I think a little bit down on that. So, while we wait for our cars to get to the grid, Jim will be organizing in the background to ensure all our drivers will be ready to go. Kieran Patterson looking to take charge of the field. And let's see if he'll be able to run away from the drivers. There, they're all lined up, waiting to go. So, that being said, let's take a look at who's starting where. Kieran Patterson out in first place. Second place is Sean Benham, along with Michael Schultz, Carl DeWitt, Chris Heineke, along with Mahath Musa, Darren Miller, Daniel De Villiers, Haris Boyers, along with Johan van der Merwe, Ron Silius, Paul Fenter, Charles Darden, SES Days in 14th. 15th is Andre Serradio, Ruan Heineke in 16th. 17, Jean Leroux, Ira Marais, along with SM Domingo in 19th. 20th goes to Jason Farmer. Moving out of our top 20, Etienne Mouton, Sean Loureiro, Werner Skuman, Clary Duplessis, Vessa Wooder, Ruan van der Race, Mark Henry, Johan Krobler, Alan Patterson, Hannes Schreling, Ulrich de Jager, Tianas Buerta, Eric Kirstein, and Lucas Joubert. Rounding out our 34-car field tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 34 of some of the fastest ACC races you will get. And I know all the drivers are waiting to see how it's going to go. 7 and 2 didn't get the car all the way. Yeah, I would say that. 7 for the execution, but landing was a bit rough. So I'd have to go with that one, Dylan. You're dead right on it. I mean, we've all seen our fair share of throwing the car around, but I'll give you that one. Maybe Colin has something pull out of the bag towards it, but this time he's got to keep it all on the black stuff. He's got to keep it all on the tar as they get ready for round 2. They had round 1. They shaken off that rust, and now it is time to go racing here at ZRC for round 2 of our GT3 Season 1. And that alone is incredible. Kieran Patterson leading the charge though. Benham's going to try and chase him down as they get ready to go. And it does look like Sean Benham is actually in the pits. So Michael Schultz will be taking that second place spot. And Carl DeVette will be trying to get a little bit more momentum. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 70Ks now. We wait for green. Jim holding the lights. 55 minutes of racing. As we get ready to go, green light, and away they go. Kieran not getting the jump he wanted. Michael right up to him. Carl DeVette also looking to try go around the outside. Opens up a door for Chris Heineke. All the Kennies go flying as they go and launch themselves around. It does look like Darren Miller was fighting it out with Daniel de Villiers, but they backed out of it. Seeing Mahath Musa ahead, just giving each other a little bit of room as they carve their way through. But Kieran Patterson leading the charge, pulls away. Michael Schultz under pressure. DeVitt right behind him, pushing, looking for the inside line, backs out of it. McLaren just not having that grip as yet, and it does look like Chris Heineke also starting to feel the pressure from Mahath Musa. Darren Miller closing down hugely onto the back of him, and it looks like the Porsche a little bit more set up for the early start to the race. Tim going, giving us a bit of a sign branding there. Daniel de Villiers right behind. He's going to try and follow his teammate, the PW Solidworks, trying to chase down Kieran Patterson. But Johan van der Merwe is not going to back out of this one. He wants to show exactly what he can do as they power their way around the circuit. One mandatory pit stop to do. And let's see if the drivers will plan themselves out. On Ruan Celia's trying to get a little bit more on Hans Burson, and it does look like we got yellow flags. Andre Seradio is okay. Paul Fenter is a little bit further down the order than he planned. He's in 14th. Ira Marais chasing right onto the back of him. So a couple of cars having a bit of a difficult situation at the start. Let's see if we can find out what exactly happened for the yellow flags to come out. So, quick jump in the replay. This is the start, and this was actually our first yellow flag to come out. As we watch number 15 car, Ruan van der Rest, trying to make his way around. Big Bentley right up on the inside. A little bit of bump and barge. Oh, bit of a bump from the back from the big Mercedes, trying to carve its way up through the field. And you can see turn 1, a little bit of a difficult situation, one that we have spoken about. Mahath Musa now feeling the pressure. Chris Heineke right onto the back of him. This is one of our close battles. Carl DeVette now a second behind Michael Schultz. So Mahath Musa trying to hold on to that 4th place as he has got Chris Heineke. Looks for the inside, backs out of it. The big BMW should be able to handle the curbs just fine at this point. Carving his way through the two teammates. Going and following in formation, getting a little bit of a chat there, saying, listen, we're not going to argue too much at this point. We're going to allow it to go. Michael Schultz losing a lot of time under braking into Surtees. And now Carl DeVette right behind him. DeVette trying to get a little bit more momentum out of the McLaren. Keeps looking for a tighter line compared to the Porsche to battle it out. We do have yellow flags. That is the number 17 car. That is Marais facing the wrong way. And my heavens, what happened to him? Let's see if we can go back roughly about 30 seconds to see what happened. Come on, Tim. There we go. Well done. So, right up to Paul Fenter, over the curb, into the grass, slides around. Oh, big impact into the barrier, and then had to sit and wait around, waiting for everyone to go through the blind corner. You can see just trying to eke his way through, watching that relative like a hawk. But that is not how you want your race to start. There is a mandatory pit stop, so he's trying to get that out of the way. And it does look like Heineke has also done his pit stop, so maybe a bit of strategy going on here. Get a little bit of an earlier stop, even if it's unplanned at this point. Alan Patterson also coming out of the box. Ruan van der Race also has come into the box. Wesselwoode and Ira Marais are the other cars left in the box. Jan Krobler out in the big BMW. The Hybrid Academy going and fighting his way through. I think he actually started from the box, or it didn't count. Might have been ill positioned because it did not count, but on my records it's saying that he did go in along with the Benham. We do know Benham actually started from pits. He was meant to be in second place, so a little bit late to the start line, and now trying to carve his way through the field as Tianis Buerta running out a little bit wide. It's going to have to get a little bit more of a giddy up and go if he wants to keep up with that Ferrari 296 as he swings across the front, trying to close down on Ulrich, who is on the back of the big Bentley. Mark Hanbury, the Royal Asphalt, going and having a bit of fun. Love to see the big Bentley finally making some returns, like the Aston Martins you've always seen, but the big Bentley unfortunately was nerfed harder than anything. Oh, Essam Domingo up on the inside, bump with Eric Kirstein, and Eric Kirstein says, well, thanks for the tag, but I'm going to keep going. Yes, Domingo once again trying to throw the car around. Low TC on that car, so low traction control, trying to get as much rotation out of the car as possible to close down on the rest of the field. Back up to the front though, third place, Carl de Vet, feeling the pressure as Mahath Musa, as we see one of the cars off in the dirt, mining out the way of our drivers. So that's not exactly how you want to do things. Michael Schultz managing to open up a slight gap. Chris Heineke hanging on to the back of Mahath Musa at this point. And we do have a bit of a tag going on here. Hardis Bursa along with Andre Serradio, who looks up on the inside. So lightest of touches, just enough to wake each other up. Charles Darden saying, okay, buddy, if you're going to do this, let's do this. Sees Andre Serradio take the inside. He's going to go a little bit around the outside, keeping a good racing line. Allow the two to battle it out. Oh, contact once again as they head into turn two. Understeering each other off out of turn two. And Paul Fenter making moves past Essie Este, saying, well, Essie, you might be going and helping run getting this whole thing all organised, but I'm not going to hold back right now. And we also got a car off. That's Alan Patterson. Alan Patterson off the circuit and out of the race. What on earth happened there? He's disconnected out of it. So Alan Patterson with a bit of a problem that's got him disconnected. So he came to a complete stop. And that is not how he wanted his race to go. Michael Schultz feeling the pressure as De Vet right behind him. Mahath Musa also right behind. And we have got Chris Heineke battling it out for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Sixth place goes to Daniel De Villiers, the hitman, back again, this time in a Porsche. And having a bit of fun in the car as well. Miller going and closing down the distance. Sirius right behind in 8th place. 9th, Andre Serradio, hardest worst, in 10th place. Then 11th, we have got Paul Fenter. SESA is pulling into the pits. He's getting himself sorted. That is going to gift it to Jan van der Merwe. And it's also going to give it to Maton, who's going to get by Mark Hanbury. And also we have got Harry Duplessis from Dallas Sim Racing going and trying to chase the guys down a little bit further back. We do have a bit of battle building. Charles Dalton keeping ahead of it. We've got Benham, who's got Ulrich de Jager right behind him. Also, this time not with all the MSI branding over it, but we've got all the NAG branding going and showing it for any, well, I would have to say, for anyone that doesn't know the NAG brand in terms of where it originally, well, go and ask anyone in the early 2000s of one of the leading gaming magazines that you could get on. It was the other magazine you wanted that had all the tech to have a bit of fun. good to see that they are keeping it up and going, and well, managed to sneak and get one of the magazines when they brought it out for the Rage last year, which is great. A bit of memory started flooding back. Opened it up and saw that there was CDs inside, realized I don't have a CD drive in my computer. It's amazing. How many of you guys still actually have a CD drive in your computer? I think, actually I do. Got an old PC that still can take floppy disks and runs on the original Windows. Maybe I should try it in... No, that's not going to work. It'll probably explode. I think the hamster died long ago. Caldervet and Mahath Musa battling it out, so... While I was off on a tangent, and I do apologize, we've also got another car that came to a stop. Oh, that's Joubert. Joubert coming to a stop, slowing up, and now dropping down the order. SES will be seeing the Ferrari just trying to get going. So SE is going to try and aim for the pass, but not quite what you want to see. A couple of drivers really battling it out and doing everything they can. Charles Darden in 15th position, and Mouton going and fighting it out with Benham right behind him. Bingham gonna really put the charge on, and it does look like Charles Darden going and taking a little bit too much corner. That allows Mouton to say, thank you very much, I'm gonna get past you. And also Benham straight lining it. Tianis Puerta, though, just couldn't get the drive he wanted, as Charles Darden, trying to go around the outside, manages to get it all put back together, but now has opened himself to a little bit more of a drive, and we've got Boyers who's off. Boyers off the circuit. Issam Domingo and Eric Kirstein also coming to blows. Let's see what happened between Domingo and Kirstein. So they are in a bit of a fight, doing everything they can to get it all sorted. Oh, to the brakes. Looks up on the inside. Oh, contact on the rear and secondary contact. But I do want to give drivers their due for 2024. Eric Kirstein actually just giving him a little bit of flash, saying, no, go buddy, go. It's fine. But well done to Domingo for actually waiting. Now, there's a bit of an unspoken rule. It's a bit of a weird one. I know everyone that sees motorsport, they're like, well, that doesn't happen in real life. Well, in sim racing, we got a gentleman's code. If there's a bit of an incident, you know you've done a little bit of a wrong, you go and hand the position back because you didn't take it fairly. So if you know that you've done a bit of a wrong, be a gentleman. Let the position go back fighting once again. Hands, hats off. Anyone that does that, hats off to everyone. Oh, contact as De Villiers gets it all wrong. Lands up having a secondary contact with Chris Heinecker, and that has promoted them up, but De Villiers just getting a snap oversteer, tag on the rear, throws himself around, and that is that. Well, taking a look over to the grandstands, we've got Dylan saying, I have a laptop that has a CD drive. Well, that counts. That counts. There's some laptops that don't, which is unfortunate, but good to hear it. And also getting at 01010. Got a bit of a code there. For anyone that's feeling like a theorist, go ahead. It's worth it. Trust me. Miller trying to get ahead of Celia's right behind him, who has now seen that the teammate of the fellow PWSR teammate's gone. Now it's time for the ZRC car to go and close down. The Zodiac Racing to battle it out as they keep up the drive. Mark Ambry also fighting out in 12th place. Kerry Duplessis right behind him. The big Bentley just not having the legs over the Ferrari as yet. But a lot of people say the Bentley, not the car to go for when there's no BOP. You got every other car. You got the new Ferraris. But let's be honest, these are pro drivers. These are some of the fastest in SA, fighting it out right here on the circuit. So give them a wheel. Oh my heavens! Mouton gets a snap oversteer. He falls off the circuit, drops back, stuck in the road. End of that brake marker. So if you were using any brake marker to the left of you, forget it. It's gone. Etienne decided, nope, not a big fan of that one. Gonna move it. And unfortunately, that drops him down the positions as well. We do have that mandatory pit stop, and that is what's going to make or break this, because we have got SES Days, who is leading everyone that's done a pit stop, followed by Rune Heineke. Run for the wrist, Jason Farmer, along with Vesselwood, Sean Loureiro, and Issam Domingo going and also getting that pit stop done, dusted out the way. Concentrate on the racing. How much time will be lost? Well, only at the end of the race we'll find out. They've got 40 minutes and 34 seconds to go racing. We got 41 minutes and 30 seconds left of racing, and whoa, overzealous Cilliers going and trying to go around the outside. It understeered, it did not work, and I want to go back and take a look from the helmet cam, closing down on the likes of Miller, doing everything he can. The Ferrari getting a little bit more of a run. Low TC, prefers to have a bit more rotation, trying to keep into that slipstream, keeping nice and tight at this point. Goes around the outside, tags the dirt, brakes on the dirt, and it snaps around. Oh, heavy crash into the wall as well. And that went and pretty much wrote tickets for his race. Also fell off a little bit during our replay as well. So that's now got Mark Hambry right behind him. Gotta say, Big Ben is doing very, very well. The Queen, oh, and it does look like Sears was a bit slow. Stuck in the middle of the road, trying to move out of the way for the other drivers. But Mark had nowhere to go at that point. And Kerry Duplessis tried capitalizing on the confusion. He looks for the inside. Charles Darden trying to come back at him. And Benham, I just want to point out this driver right here, that Benham, who is on the back of Charles Darden, qualified in second position. Started from the pits. Dead last. 34th. Sorry, buddy. That's all she wrote. Has now moved up into 14th position. He's down 12 positions at the moment from his start, but that is impressive. Tiernis Buerta going side by side with Cilliers, trying to get by, and it does look like Hrobler going in, also giving a bit of a push to help with fellow teammate. Oh, Cilliers off the circuit once again into the dirt, trying to get himself all together, but it doesn't look like that rear of the Ferrari is saying any means of helping by any word of imagination. Kerry Duplessis off the circuit. That does allow Mark Hambry to come by. Charles Darden will fight it out. This is just out of the top 10 as one of our closest major field racing at the moment. Side by side, Charles Darden and Benham going and really trying to get a little bit more of a drive. Bit of rubbing paint as well. So some great racing action, some great performances, and you've got all the thrills and spills right here at ZRC. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, go and hit the like button, go hit the subscribe, go and share it with friends and family. Let them know that the racing is here at ZRC, at Zodiac Racing Community. And if you want to come racing, well, go and hit that into the Discord, join up, have a bit of fun. There's lots of racing, and also go throw your hand in. Well, round 3 is just next week, and I'm sure that you want to have a crack at it, see some of the fastest in SA go and battle it out. These drivers, I've got to say, they've got a little bit of rust, but during the off-season, they not only been practicing here at ZRC, they've been over at all of the communities around SA, and I know that Dylan can tell you that is big time competing the driver's working on. It's Hamilton, the yellow flag, dropping a wheel off on the dirt, so he's now trying to get himself up and going. Doesn't look like the Ferrari's too scuffed at the moment, so he's going to keep up the pace. Mark Hambry keeping ahead of Kerry Duplessis, who's now into the tow. Charles Dalton trying to also join in and watch his rearview mirror as Benham's trying to close down the distance. Kerry looks for the inside, backed out of it, and Benham pulling into the pits. Bit of a later stop this time around, and getting himself sorted. 11 laps in. A couple of cars in the pits trying to get themselves sorted out. Going to be putting a fresh set of tires on, I think, for some of them, for sliding around. It is cold out there. It's 17 degrees. Air temperature 21 degrees. Track temperature cloudy, so there isn't a lot of heat coming down to warm up, and we haven't got any wind, thankfully. That is going to be causing a problem, but the drivers are having to compete to try and get a bit of heat into these tires and brakes while they power their way through on this very technical circuit. Down to 24th position, we got Eric Kirstein battling out, Rian van der Rees and Farmer trying to close up. And I've got to say, Jason Farmer, I haven't seen a lot of racing personally, but I'm very impressed of the actual racing skill with the pros. Doing a very good job keeping it all together. Van der Rees driver I have seen battle it out with Eric Kirstein more than once at this point, and they are fighting it out. Eric Kirstein for the Hybrid Academy, try hard, a nod to their sister team, as I said, is fighting it out. McLaren versus Ferrari, the battle of the mid-engines at the moment. He hasn't got the front-end aero, so he's going to be down about 1 or 2 kilometers now. So he's just trying to get a little bit more pace. Got the inside line, a little bit of late braking, and just going and bleeding off the brakes a little bit earlier, gets the run. Does slow up Van der Rees, and Jason Farmer did look at capitalizing. But let's go through our grid. Kieran Patterson, we haven't spoken much about him, and Kieran, I am so sorry I haven't spoken about you, but you're lapping the field. You're going through it. You are 9 seconds ahead of Caldervet in second place. Fantastic run from him. Good to see him out there having a bit of fun in the golf racing colours. Also, great showing for him. Michael Schultz in third place, trying to close down the difference. Mahath Musa in fourth. Darren Miller in fifth. Daniel de Villiers in sixth. Seventh, Andres Radio. Paul Fenter. Johan van der Merwe in ninth. 10th is Chris Heineke. Mark Hambry, who is dealing with Kerry Duplessis, that is going and tailing him at this point, pushing as hard as he can to get a little bit more of a run. Then you got Charles Darden, who is dealing with Johan Grobler, who looks up on the inside, trying to put the big nose in. Oh! Well, the beaver teeth just went and punted the pony. So Charles Darden trying to get himself all going. Tennis Buerta says, well, I'll take that position. Thank you very much. Charles Darden, a little bit of a slide. Going to have to try and get those tyres all sorted out. Kept it all together, so well done to him on that. But we'll be diving into the pits. I think it was an unplanned pit stop at this point. But seeing the time lost, he's going to go, well, I'm going to get back into the pits, get myself sorted, refocus, and get out fighting. So, another great little drive. Lucas Joubert going and having a bit of fun. As Joubert battling it out with Benham, who dives up on the inside. Lucas not putting too much of a fight there. Does bleed off a little bit earlier. Allow Benham to get by. Going to try and utilize the toe at this point to close down on the rest of the field. So, good to see it. So, through the field, Kieran Patterson ahead of the rest. Caldervet, Michael Schultz, Mahath Musa, Darren Miller, Daniel de Villiers in 6th, 7th, Andres Aradio, Paul Fenter in 8th, 9th, Johan van der Merwe, Chris Heineke in 10th position, Mark Hambry in 11th, Harry Duplessis in 12th, 13th, Johan Grobler, Tienes Buerta in 14th, 15th is Hardest Boers, along with Elric de Riaga, Werner Skuman, Izzy Estes, Ruan Heineke, Sean Benham, Lucas Joubert, Ruan van der Rees. Then we've got Jason Farmer, Charles Darden, Hannes Kraling, Sean Lorero, Etienne Mouton, Issam Domingo, Ruan Cilliers in 29th, 30th position is Eric Kirstein, Vessel Wooder, and Aaron Murray just in the pits, unfortunately, having to retire the car. Maybe a little bit too much damage on the car. And maybe we can get fellow teammates of his, Dylan, to go and have a bit of a chat to him and see, maybe we can figure out what's going on. What's the strategy behind the LTR team? I know that Alan's keeping a very close eye from PWSR on his drivers, so maybe Alan Patterson can lean in and say, well, we're planning to do something considering drivers are a little bit split at the moment. And also, ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, we do have our AM stream up, and please go over, go and share some love. Tell them that you're coming from the pros and you're going to see our, well, I call them pro-ams, but to me, they're pros. They are seriously pros, not losing out. But Paul Fenter, though, did lose out on that corner. The LNR driver doing everything he can with Yellow Fellow on the nose. And well, I think he met the green fellow. Not this time around. It seems to be all okay through the triple. A little bit too much curb. Nope. Understeer, oversteer, wall. Pull the wall Fenter, everybody. Pull the wall Fenter. The LNR driver. And I've got to say, hats off. only driver I know that's brave enough to take the Honda at the moment. A very tricky car that can wear down its tires. Last time I actually had a burn in that, the front tires were getting worn out hugely. Now he's got a little bit of work on the drive. So, bit of a chat down in the pits, and I've got to say, a bit of our Gunther Steiner of the ACC here in South Africa, the Set of Course Competizione World. That is Dylan from Sarko going and saying, plan is to survive at this stage and keep going. Don't worry, we got Gene on the line for you, buddy. Keep up the work. So our resident Gunther Steiner going and being a little bit of informative. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good to see it. Drivers carving their way through. Down to 31 minutes left of the race right here. Brands Hatch Calderwood up in second place. Michael Schultz down into third. Kieran Patterson out in the front with no one to challenge him at this point. Darren Miller in fourth place. So Michael Schultz now going and pressurizing, trying to get for that second place. He's not going to back down. He's going to look for the inside. No, when I had a chat to the ZRC team, they went and said, nope. Their plan is to race each other. No team orders. They're just going to give it everything they've got. Well, they caught up behind Charles Darden, who is keeping on the racing line. As the blue flags say, you are to hold a predictable line, and it's up to the drivers passing to pass you safely. It is advisable, though, to bleed off a little bit in the corners, allow the guys to get past you without too much of a problem. And both DeWitt and Schultz managed to get past, but now they're in tow, with Schultz going and looking left and right. Charles Darden trying to keep out of it. One I do want to talk about that is going to be a driver to keep an eye on, Mahath Musa. Bear in mind here, Mahath Musa is really racing. He's also the first that has done their pit stops and gotten out, and is still on the same set of tires. Only spent 7.4 seconds in the box, so that's a serious splash and dash to get it right. Side-by-side action between DeWitt and Schultz as they fight their way through. Schultz down into third place. He tried challenging for that second place, lost out the drive. Charles Darden's going to keep right behind him at this point, as DeWitt going and getting past sideways. Oh, contact to Charles Darden though. Spearing off into the wall. That catches him out. We also got another contact. That is Diaga, who landed up with a bit of a problem. So Diaga, a little bit slow, trying to let the cars through. And I'm sure we'll be talking. So he had Paul Fenter right behind him, the little Honda, chasing down, looks to try and get past, couldn't do it. Looks up on the inside, forces him offline, and there's a snap. Oh, and fellow teammate had nowhere to go, both in a slide, both having to try and figure out how they can get round. It's unfortunate. It does happen when you are racing as hard as you can at this point. So we're getting a little bit of a chat here. So our resident Gunther Steiner, and I mean that as a compliment. I really do, because everyone loves Gunther Steiner. Dylan going in saying, Dylan Hall saying Maria seems to have some sort of glitch, had no feeling in the front, and the car was just understeering underneath him. So that is not going to help. It came into some sort of mechanical failure in the car that landed up with no grip, understeery, and just makes life very challenging. Oh, contact, Tianis Buerta landing up with one of our Mercedes. So let's see what happened there. Was there nowhere to go? Was there everywhere to go? We'll find out in just a couple of seconds. So Buerta trying to get the drive at this point, runs out wide. A little bit of dirt being kicked up from the drivers ahead. And just that snapper oversteer, and also just joining the party for our number 6 car. Also landing up Vessel Wooder, going and falling off a circuit. Now, was that a spin in sympathy? Well, some could say it was a spin in sympathy. Closest racing on track. Werner Skuman and SESA's battling it out for 12th and 13th position. Essie has completed all his pit stops. Werner Skuman has not. So Panda City trying to keep ahead of SESA's, who looks up on the inside, and Heineke also looking to join in the party as well. So don't count him out of the running. Essie in the tow, battling it out in the Porsche, looks to go around the outside. Can he go and get it all sorted out? Not just as yet. Does tuck in on the inside, trying to launch it up on the inside of the Ferrari. Couldn't get it all sorted out. Dylan saying, yep, sympathy spin, I think so. And we have our first drive-through penalty of the race. And that is Mark Hambry scoring the first Noddy Badge Award for the season. Drive-through penalty not going to help his odds at any point. Werner Skuman keeping ahead of SESA's. That's backing it up for Heineke, the LTR team, to get a little bit more drive. Essie, knowing that he's got the pressure from behind, does look for the inside line. Desperate move to the inside, late on the brakes into Podium Hill. Going to try and force the Ferrari out wide. Skuman battling it out, managing to save it when it was all going wrong, gets it sorted. SESA's keeping it tucked up. Werner Skuman did look up on the inside, but just didn't have the drive. And Ruan Heineke trying everything he can to just keep on to the battle as well. So great racing from them as they fight it out. And it does look like a little bit of pressure being put on from a little bit at the back. And that looks to be our 26. That is Ruan Cilios, who is just saying, I'm losing a bit of time here. Let's try and keep a good average time together. Since he is a blue flag at the moment, he's unable to pass. He can go for a pass, and he does so. So a little bit of a flash, just going and saying, listen, let me buy. I'll give you the tow, and we'll close down on Skuman. Very clever thinking there. I've got to point out, very clever thinking from Heineke. Going and allowing the quick driver to get past, and will then try and utilize the tow or use him as a battering ram to get past the likes of Werner Skuman, who is not going to give the same courtesy at this point. He wants to keep the drive up to catch up to SESA's, and he knows that Heineke is trying to close down the difference between them, as it's a big lunge on the inside, contact, and the Panda City into the dirt. Werner Skuman losing out, and Heineke saying, well, hey, it worked. There's my battering ram. And a bit of contact going on. Back up to the front, though, battling it out for third place. Darren Miller in fourth, going after Schultz in third, who's been sliding it out in the Porsche, not able to get it all connected just as yet. He's battling to try and power his way through. So let's see how our drivers are going to keep this all together throughout the race. Pit stops still needing to be made. This is where it gets very tricky, ladies and gentlemen. When are the drivers going to pit? Not many are left. Drivers that still need a pit. Kieran Patterson, who has now put a 14-second, going 15-second gap over second place. He's got a bit of breathing room there. DeWitt in second place. Michael Schultz in third. Fourth place, Darren Miller. Daniel De Villiers, who is in fifth place. Andres Serradio in sixth. Jan van der Merwe in 7th, Chris Heineke in 8th position, Harry Duplessis in 10th, and then you have got Werner Skuman in 13th, and Ulrich Diaga lying in 14th position, still needing to do their pit stops. 31 cars still going. Well, it does look like Ruan van der Race has actually parked, so he ran into some mechanical trouble and has unfortunately lost out the drive. Vesselwater, despite the damaged nose, he is going to keep it going. Werner Skuman, though, goes out onto the dirt through Podium Hill. What happened there? So Skuman was trying to get a little bit more drive, and I think may have lost the rear end through Podium Hill as tanks are getting lighter and lighter. The cars become a little bit more lively, especially with the mid-engine's natural rotation. Does make it rather tricky. Oh, there's a slight tap of the brakes mid-corner as it just understeers and slides its way through. A bit of a lazy slide, and it catches them out. Another car to keep an eye out for is Jabir, who landed up with a bit of a yellow flag situation as well. So let's see what happened to Jabir, as he has Celia's right behind him. So Celia's trying to carve a bit of a path at this point, and Jabir kind of took the brunt of it as he was chasing down Essie ahead of him, and nope, didn't. Just understeered way off the circuit, missed the braking marker, kept it out of the wall, fortunately, so well done. Seriously, well done. That's definitely a heart-and-mouth moment for him at this point. So, let's see how it's going to work out for our drivers this time around. Couple of things that's going to be rushing through the driver's head. How much fuel do I need to get to the end? What are my tyres looking like? Are they comfortable to get to the end? I think most of the drivers have actually taken out that opportunity to swap tyres and get back out and racing. A couple of drivers that have. Tianis Buerta has actually swapped tyres. Sean Lerera swapped tyres. Paul Fenter swapped tyres, and they were also repairing a bit of damage. Werner Skuman in the pits as well. So some drivers have opted to go and put a fresh pair of slicks onto their cars to get a little bit more of a run, get a little bit more grip around Brands Hatch, knowing they got 20 minutes and 50 seconds left of this amazing race here tonight. And it is going to be shake and bake all the way through this race. Who can power it through? Who is going to be able to take the checkered flag? Well, all bets are landing in Kieran Patterson's pocket right now, but it isn't over until the checkered flag comes down. The only certainty you have this evening while racing, you are certain that you will put your car on the trailer, and that's that. It will be put on the trailer. And I know every driver, every sim racer, every real driver has that same mentality. The only certainty is that is going to come back. In how many pieces? Well, that's up for the race to decide. You either have Lady Luck on the pit wall cheering you on, letting you know what's going on and how you're doing, or you got Murphy sitting with that number 13 spanner, 13 socket and 10 spanner. That's always the problem when it comes down to motorsport. It can be a cruel mistress, one that you can love. You can say thank you, you want to be with, but she can also be extremely vindictive when needed. Luke Jabir going and clawing up a bit of drive to Eric Kirstein just ahead of him. Eric Kirstein going and closing down the difference to Maton. This is 26th, 27th, and 28th position. One of our closest battles out on the circuit. So Kirstein trying to get a little bit more drive, and does farming as well. Just going and checking the grass, making sure it is legal height. So it's got to be the legal height. You've got to drive through it to make sure it's all cut properly. You know, you don't want any strange pieces of grass that can throw you around. It's caring about the safety of the drivers. Anyone buying this? I don't think so. Interesting enough, we saw the vet come into the pits. He's actually dropped back behind Musa. So Mahath Musa now leads of everyone that's done a pit stop and has an opportunity to get into second place. Andre Serradio dives into the pits. So Serradio now trying to get himself sorted out and get going. And I've got to say, the first time I actually saw the name Andre Serradio actually goes back to when R-Factor 2 was being utilized here in South Africa. And Andre Serradio opted to take a BMW. He said, nope, he likes a BMW. He's going to get it going, and he drove the M6. De Vet getting a bit of a pass as we see drivers heading out of the pits. So Mahath Musa trying to make a little bit more pace. Kieran Patterson still going to go around. I think he is going to run it right down to the wire at this point, battling it out. It is going to be a proper charge for all our drivers. Darren Miller in second place. Daniel De Villiers going and moving himself up into third. The Hitman is going on the charge. He wants to be on that podium, and he's going to do everything he can for hopefully a 1-2-3 lockout of PWSR. I mean, that is, as a team, that is no easy feat. And I can tell you, there's team owners that will be chomping at the bit to do the same. They're seeing this right now and going, be comfy, boys. We're coming for you. And I know, like Dylan sitting there on the pit wall going and saying, okay, guys, listen, we got to get some pace here. We got to make sure we're going to get to the end, but we're going to get it as far up to the front as possible. All the ZRC team doing exactly the same. Project Vapor, and we also got GSR going and powering his way through. Kerry Duplessis hoping to get that charge to the front as well. He's currently in the top 10, will have to do his pit stop, but he is going to drop down the order like a rock at this point. So this is going to be a very, very interesting pit stop for him. Where does he come out as he pulls into the pit, sees SE get past him? So SES is going and saying, thank you very much. He's got his fellow teammate Sirius right behind him. And now Sirius is a blue flag, so he doesn't have to worry about him. Sitting in the mirror, he's going to say, right, keep in my toe. Let's just keep our heads down here. Andre Serradio has caught up to Jan van der Merwe in the Red Bull car. Really not showing, well, Jan van der Merwe is not quite the Max Verstappen at the moment, but he is giving everything he can. So, pretty much the Sergio Perez at the moment. Keep going. You'll get that podium come the next round. I'm dead sure of it. Andre Serradio, Michael Schultz also down into 8th place. Now, remember, Michael's fighting up for that top spot. He was on 3rd place, 2nd place, battling it out there. Now he's dropped down the order as it seems. So, running order of our top 10, Kieran Patterson, Darren Miller, and Daniel de Villiers, all still needing to pit. Maybe a team order came in and said, right, guys, you're going to keep up the pace. You're going to keep up the drive. I want you to focus on this as we're going to carve our way through the order. So, good job to them. Maeth Musa up into 4th place. Now, if, taking a look at the times, it takes roughly 22 seconds to do a in and out pit stop in terms of get the car through pit entry and out without even stopping in the box, which is about 7.4 seconds. If Maeth Musa keeps up his pace, he will be ahead of Daniel de Villiers, but will be side by side with Darren Miller if he doesn't make enough pace now. So this is going to be a very interesting one for the PWSR team. What's the play with the final 14 minutes and 11 seconds left of the race? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you are going wild, let me know in the comments. Who are you rooting for? Who are you supporting? Pick your favorite driver, pick your favorite car. Let me know what it is. Do you want to not even pick your favorite driver? You just want to say, I want to see a Porsche get to the front. I want to see a BM get to the front. What is your favorite GT3 car that is out on the circuit tonight? We have had it all. Bentleys, Mercs, Porsches, Ferraris, McLarens, Lambos, all going and fighting it out for the top spot of the podium. And still drive-through penalty. Werner Skuman. Ouch. That's all I can say with it looming over the head. He hasn't had the best of runs tonight. Got the drive-through penalty. He is going to serve it, which is good to see. Oh, caught the pit wall trying to slow the car down. And unfortunately, looks like it collected a bit of damage there as well. So let's see how that's going to turn out for him. Andre Serradio, Michael Schultz, keep an eye on this. A very close battle that's currently out on circuit within our top 10. Andre Serradio just keeping ahead in the mighty Lamborghini. The Bull trying to run away from the Porsche. And let's see how that's going to turn out. Andre Serradio getting the drive, carrying all the pace. He's trying to catch up to Van der Merwe and at least hoping that Van der Merwe would back off a little bit, try to give him a tow, because he is sitting duck for Schultz, who is going to close down on the back of him, allow the Porsche's natural rotation. I've got to say, the 992 is a very, very comfortable car around Brands Hatch compared to the Lamborghini, so Schultz can keep a huge amount of pressure without worrying too much about the car just snapping out underneath him. And Andres Aradio, who is now watching his rearview mirrors like a hawk, left and right. What is he going to do? How is he going to battle it out? Because from his rear wing, this is what he can see. The Porsche closing down. He's got a little bit more drive. You can hear that V10 howling as it tries to pull away from that 992 Porsche GT3R, the new Porsche. So don't confuse it with the 991 that was previously. I know they look very similar. There is some key differences, such as how the brake lights are done and also the clever tech within it. Porsche keeping that usual shape. The Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2 that Andres Aradio is using. Brilliant car. Lots of downforce, lots of power, but is a bit snappy and doesn't quite like the curbs as much as one would think. And very, very close battle going on. 22nd, 23rd is Domingo and Mark Hembry, who actually gets a huge drive. That Bentley is fighting back. And these two cars, might I add, the Bentley always was the go-to, the most reliable car, the one that you can drive, you can get comfy, and beginners can have a bit of fun. The OG, you may call it, battling it out with the newer OG, which is the BMW M4 GT3, just ahead of him. So Issam Domingo in that BMW, and the big Bentley going and powering his way around. I think the first time I ever got to have a crack at ACC, and was actually in an Audi, but my second car that I ever got to drive was actually, no joke, was at Sarko on console in a Porsche, which, well, I learned to tolerate Porsche, the Porsche at the time, but it was definitely one car that required some unique skill to get it right to the front. The big Bentley, on the other hand, was a bit more of a powerhouse. There's some Domingo trying to defend. Mark Hembry looking up on the inside. Gets a little bit of a slide, though. Mark a little bit more comfortable. Does get the drive, keeping nice and close. Some Domingo defending that inside line, trying to get a bit more of a move. Paul Fenter, though, also catching up to Diaga. These two have come to blows once, twice, three times more over the course of last year and early this year. Gets past, no problem there. The Honda going and utilizing that VTEC to power his way through. Dylan going and saying, Porsche for the win there. It depends in whose hands. It depends in whose hands. The Porsche's, well, it's either going to love you or you're going to learn the ugly side of it all. But I got to say, the 992 is definitely a beautiful, beautiful car to drive. A great, great improvement. And even the 992 Cup car is a lot of fun to drive. Oh, contact! Mark Hembry just a little bit of a nudge onto the back of Issam Domingo. Domingo going and locking down that inside line, fighting it out, carving his way through. Mark looking for that inside line, had to back out of it, runs out wide as Domingo is fighting tooth and nail at this point. Two of the OGs fighting it out, and does look like Mark looks up on the inside. Can he keep it all together? Domingo just putting that car just in the right places to kill off the drive on the Big Ben. Locking that inside line, does move a slight bit across just to keep ahead. But further up, 7th and 8th position, Andres Aradio, Michael Schultz. Michael's getting a little bit closer this time, 0.4 of a second, and is slightly quicker on his last lap as he tries to close down on the race. So let's see if Andres Aradio will be able to keep it together. Both of them are running all the way down to the line. 8 minutes and 13 seconds left. This is where it is panic situation and it all rains. And it does look like a little bit of contact between Hembry and Issam Domingo. Oh boy, and Cilliers just runs off the circuit as well, just as we cut to our replay. Cilliers not having a good run this evening, pushing a little bit too hard in the McLaren. Let's see what happened between Domingo and Hembry. Big Ben trying to go past. Domingo moving across. Slight tap there. Domingo giving him not much room to get by. Slight contact upsets the rear of the BMW. Loses out the drive. Shouldn't get by. So there's going and understeering off the circuit, pushing a little bit too hard, but that killed off that little fight. Mark Schultz getting it around our drivers, and Andres Aradio going and closing down. So, our PWSR team, Kieran Patterson, Darren Miller, Daniel de Villiers still needing to pit. They're going to leave it right down to the wire at this point. 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Guys, got to get there in the pit sometime. And Daniel, the hitman de Villiers, does get it in, saying, well, I'll play a gambling game, but I ain't doubling down for it. I'll rather take the safer bet, get in now, get myself sorted. And he knows that Mahath Musa will be closing down the distance because Mahath Musa has just gone through 30. He's heading towards the final corner. So it's going to be a close run between them. De Villiers just stopping in his box now. So Musa is going to be pedal to the metal, straight to the floor. And if he can, he's going to try and Flintstone it to get that extra bit of pace. Does he get past? Yes, he does. And so does De Vet. So De Villiers out on a bit of a losing streak there. But we do have yellow flags. Car 10. That's Mark Hamry. Mark Hamry falling off the circuit. So what happened to Mark? All by his lonesome. Did he face a bit of understeer? Did it snap out underneath him? Trying everything he can to just battle it out. Oh, massive slide. Once again, 7... He didn't go all the way around, so I'd give that a 3. Didn't quite pull it off. Try again later, I think. But did drop him down the order. So back over to our grandstands. We're seeing a bit of support. The 991 was still the favourite of Dylan Hall, who's not in the grandstands. He's out there in the pits, out on the pit wall. Our resident Gunther Steiner, saying the 991 was the favourite of the 3 Porsches that he has driven out on Assetto Corsa Competizione right here at ZRC. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're enjoying the action right now, this is our Pro server. We do have our AM server that is currently out as well. Go and share a bit of love there. Absolutely grand. And a big thank you to our trusty volunteers going and making that happen. And gotta say, really nice to see a bit of love going out to the smaller slots. It's always great to see it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, down 5 minutes left of the race. Well, 4 minutes and 50 seconds, if we want to be very technical. It's all or nothing. Kieran Patterson has pitted. Still will be holding first place at this point. Darren Miller needs to get into the pit, so hopefully Miller will keep ahead of Mahath Musa, trying to work it out here. Mahath is 28. He's about 30 seconds behind, so he should be able to get ahead of Miller. Kieran Patterson will definitely retake that first place, but Daniel de Villiers down 2 positions with that late pit stop. Don't think it worked out in his favour. Miller pulling into the pits. And now it is pedal to the metal for the likes of Mahath Musa as he tries to carve his way through the field, get a little bit closer. You've got De Vet doing everything he can to try and make up the time. Andre Serradio, Michael Schultz, they are still fighting it out, tooth and nail at this point. And I mean, if we even go to the helmet cam, this is how much work is being done in the Porsche. You can hear that mechanical whine as it goes side by side with the Lambo, trying to lock on the inside, a little bit of a slide in the rear, a little bit of nudge, a little bit of tap, going and sharing paint, bit of orange, bit of white, and Serradio gets by just fine, getting the drive. So Michael tried his best there, but the rear just not settling with him at this point. And losing out a bit of time at 25, so all the time starting to taper off. Drivers starting to feel that fatigue kicking in, and also starting to feel the mechanical wear that's going on. The fatigue, when I'm talking about it, everyone's thinking, oh, but how can you get fatigued in a sim rig? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me educate you on this. And I think if any of our drivers and fellow spectators can also let us know. So, fatigue. You're staring at a screen, flashing at whatever it is from 60 hertz right up to 144 hertz, some even further, 240 plus, working either on a single monitor or triple where it has it wrapped around you. that wears you down. Your eyes get fatigued, they get dry. You're trying to drive through the pain. Also, the steerings, the force feedback that's coming through can wear you down. You start getting tired and tired. Even a G29, a simple, cheaper wheel to go racing with, a T300 after that, will wear you down. Some of these drivers have even moved over to direct drives that will just fight them right the way through. Darren Miller managing to get ahead of Mahath Musa. Not much time left. Roughly about 2 laps, maybe less at this point. Mahath Musa now fighting it out for second place. Miller doing everything he can to hold a 1-2 for the team, but he is under some serious pressure. Both drivers know each other very, very well, and they will fight it out right to the end. Musa losing out that little bit of drive to Miller, and looks like the drivers will be heading towards a yellow flag at this point, so they're going to be very cautious. It looks like they can't manage to get going. So Mahath Musa trying to carry as much pace as possible. Miller doing everything he can, sliding the rear out a little bit, stepping it out, just get that little bit more rotation. Musa putting the power down very, very early as it slides out. BMW M4 GT3 looking a little bit stable on entry. He's able to get the drive. This is where he's very, very comfortable, and he has got the toe heading into Podium Hill. We just heard from Jim that the leader is on his final lap. Kieran Patterson is on his final lap, and second place is wide open between Miller and Musa. This is it for them. They have got to do everything they can. Musa carrying multiple different championships. Most recently has been the Sarko champion. Now going and fighting it out with Miller. Big thank you, Dylan. Thanks for the info on that one. Appreciate for that. And Darren Miller, who is fighting it out also with lots of titles behind his name. Lots of experience. Trying to get his way around the back markers, slightly off a racing line, not ideal for both drivers. And now they're catching up to Tianis Puerta. Kieran Patterson, though, coming across the line, got the hazards on. He is celebrating, and well done to Kieran Patterson taking the win. Second place, though, Miller and Musa still going to fight it out. So Kieran Patterson taking the win. Miller and Musa have got it right down to the wire. 1 corner to go. Will it be enough? Will Mahath Musa take a lunge? Has a little bit too much distance. He's going to try get the early drive, but Miller will bring it home in second place, making it a PWSR 1-2. Mahath Musa for Project Vapors, giving a flash, saying well done. Project Vapor now up into third place. Caldervit down in fourth place. Well done to him. Daniel De Villiers up into fifth. Jan van der Merwe, Andre Serradio comes across the line ahead of Michael Schultz right before the end. Chris Heineke as well closed down the distance. SES Ace going and joining fellow teammates as they come across the line. Great to see it there. Ruan Heineke comes across the line along with Jan Krobler. Down in 12th. 13th is Sean Benham. Jason Farmer, Harry Duplessis, Charles Darden, Tianis Puerta, Paul Fenter in 18th position. Sean Larera, Elric Tiaga, Issam Domingo, Ruan Cilliers, Mark Hambry, along with Eric Kirstein, Etienne Mouton, Lucas Chabert, Hannes Kreiling, Vessel Wooder, Hades Bursi, and Eric Marais. They're both finishing up in the pits. What a brilliant drive from our drivers. What a brilliant time indeed, and what a way to finish our round 2. And I've got to say, it was a proper chase for all. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is where the fun comes in. We're going to see whether we can get the drivers to come and have a chat to us, to give us a bit of their thoughts of Brands Hatch. How did it all go? What happened? And give us a bit of a breakdown as well. So let's see who's brave enough to jump in the commentary box. And a big thank you to all our spectators as well. It's absolutely tremendous stuff to have you guys here. Make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and thank you to everyone that went over to our AM side to go and show support to the drivers. Really, really appreciate it. And I know I speak on behalf of every one of the drivers for that amazing, amazing effort. So, while we give a few moments for our drivers to see if they can come and join us, let's take a look back at some of the highlights of the race. Race start being a rather tricky one. Drivers having to push themselves that little bit more. Little bit of rubbing and paint up and down through the field, but a reasonably clean start, and not what you see a lot at Brands Hatch. All the drivers taking that extra bit of caution, a couple of drivers dropping a wheel off onto the dirt, but all in all, some fair and close racing indeed. Tremendous, tremendous stuff. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, as well, keep an eye out on the 9th of March. We will be having the ZRC Bathurst 1000, and there's a bit of contact with SM Domingo getting into the pack, and drivers trying to get themselves all sorted out at the start. But yes, we have a Bathurst 1000 that will be on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Teams of 3. Team up with your mates. Come and have a bit of fun with us. And that will be on the 9th of March, starting at 11:15. So don't miss out on that. Lots of fun to be had for all our drivers that love some GT3 racing. And let's see who can conquer the mountain. As still no one yet. Let's see if I can try and coax and well, drag some of our drivers to come and have a chat to us in the waiting room for our pro split. SESA's battling out, trying to get ahead of fellow teammate Jan van der Merwe, with Paul Venter chasing him down. But we are going to bring our first driver, which this will be the first interview of our ZRC series. So bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the man running it, SESA's. Welcome to the commentary box, and welcome to the first time you're being interviewed in your in the ZRC GT1 season. First of all, how does it feel to be at round 2 with a stacked grid of 43 cars in your pro, plus you got a Pro-Am? How's it feel? How's it feel to see all the drivers coming in and go racing?
Stephen, well, it's absolutely phenomenal. So firstly, I have to thank each and every one of the members of the sim racing community that made the decision to come and join us. Look, our main thing from the start was just to have a place for people to have fun, race each other, and after that, we're all friends. We race hard, but we play hard together. And for us, it's absolutely amazing to have so many guys registered for the season. And it does seem like the racing is good from where I was on track. It was tight, it was tough, but there was an overall sense of goodwill and acceptance and all that. So I must say I'm super chuffed. So I can only thank each and every one of the guys that made the decision to come and join us. And we hope that many more will come and join us, and that the word of mouth will spread, that it's a nice place to be, and that we can only build this for the future. That's the only thing we can hope for all of us to race together.
All right, so now wholesome aside, I've asked you the cute and cuddly question. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Essie, your race was hard racing, few mistakes, and even getting caught out by your teammates while trying to get past. A little bit of missteps every so often. What's the takeout from this? What's the plan heading into round 3, and also getting the Porsche a little bit more settled?
Well, I'm actually extremely comfortable with a Porsche. My tires were still fine. I was still capable of doing low 24s even at the end of the race. I didn't replace the tires. Yeah, I was caught up in a little incident there on, I think, the third to last corner, where I had to brake hard to avoid a car that spun in front of me. I think it was Charles Darden or something like that, but they were in a battle, and then I was sort of collateral damage, and then poor Johan the McLaren doesn't have good brakes, so he came in and then just hit me on the backside. So I had damage front and rear. So I just, luckily it's right at the pits, and I had the strategy just to go pop in and fix it quickly and get back out of there. But other than that, it was an extremely pleasant race. I had a lovely battle with Werner Schoeman. Yo, that man defends like a tank. So yeah, respect to him. We had an awesome little battle. And I was checking my rearview mirror for Mr. Heineke. He was always there lurking. Even when we had the battle, or when I had the battle with Schoeman, then I saw Mr. Heineke just lurking in the background. Should we make any mistake, then he'll be ready to pounce.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. Well, it's going to be an interesting one. The racing is fast, it's fierce. It is going to be an interesting season one, debut season, the dream coming true. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it's all going to turn out. Essie, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box. We're going to pull up our next driver to have a bit of fun. But before you go, anything you want to say? And like always, like I love playing it, it's open mic, except no swearing, keep it PG. We got some kids watching.
No, I can just say thank you to you, Stephen, for providing the flair that only you can provide. I think it just makes the whole picture complete with a professional guy like behind the mic and making sure we're all entertained. So thank you for your efforts, and everyone else behind the scenes, thank you to their efforts. And then you probably mentioned the Bathurst 1000. So we hope to see a lot of teams entering for that. That should be some event come March 9th. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you, Essie. Right, with Essie Essays out of the box, let's bring in our next one, straight from LNR himself. It's the man that decided to take the Honda. He's broken his pinky toe, not by the wall, but by the sim rig, then collected the wall. This time, though, did collect the wall, came back, and let VTech kick in. And this is Paul Fenter. Wait, no, I've got to get this right. This is Paul Shenanigans Fenter that is chatting with us. Paul, I know you've been streaming. I know you've been pulling some shenanigans. How was it out there tonight? Some very tough racing on your part.
Man, what can I say? I think I'm my own worst enemy. Put it in the wall twice by myself, and literally just killed my own race. Had a bit of contact with Zodiac at the start, which didn't touch the wall or anything, so could carry on. But yeah, then I think just the frustration got to me, and I put it in the wall myself, and yeah, so quite irritated. Might have to drink some tequila just to punish myself for that, because that was sure thing. Top 5 running would have been on the cards there, but it is what it is. I had fun. Racing was good when I had someone to race with besides myself. So yeah, it was good, I guess.
It's definitely one of those, how do we say, paying your school fees type of races. For anyone that does know, Paul Fenter does have some real world racing experience as well in single seaters, but also part of the LNR community, which Logistical Nightmare Racing coming out in a bit of force as well. A couple of drivers that raced there. How was it to be on the track with the peers? I know some drivers haven't been racing since the start of the year, and now coming back onto the grid. Some new names as well. Yeah, Paul, you've been in the scene for quite some time. How's it out there with your fellow sim racers?
And I think for it being the second week, everyone's still getting to know each other again after taking the December breaks and so on. I think the racing's been reasonably decent. There's quite a nice bit of respect between the guys. You know, if you go for a dive, you know, as long as it's not an absolute crazy dive, guys give you space. You know, it's I think it's fun, and that's kind of what we are used to and how it's supposed to be. And then I think just this custom BOP is also just makes it that tad bit more fun, because you've got some of the cars that theoretically doesn't have the amount of power that the other cars have, but because it's carrying like minus 20 or minus 25 kgs or something, like example for the Honda, it just has so much more straight line speed. So it it's a nice little counter, so it makes for good racing. And yeah, I must say I've had fun, and it's a nice grid. I didn't see any major pileups, saw some crashing and so on, but that's bound to happen. But yeah, I think the boys. I think we're starting 2024 off in the way that we should do it, where everyone's giving each other enough space that we can actually enjoy the racing and not just have a wreck fest on lap one.
Oh, that's it. And Paul, thank you very much for joining us here in the commentary box. Paul Fenter in the Honda. There is the Honda. Paul, before I let you go, anything you want to say? Remember, keep it PG. You can keep your shenanigans Friday where you can let loose a little bit. But we got some kids watching tonight, so anything you would like to say?
No, all good. Just lucky to be racing again. ZRC Zodiac Racing doing a fantastic job as a new league. Waiting to see what the other SA leagues throw at us for some fun. LNR's new season will pop out probably tomorrow or the day after for that. So yeah, I think everyone's just getting ready to go racing all over the show. And yeah, let's just have some fun. And as you say, keep it clean, and we'll have the dirty fun on a late night on a Friday.
I love it. Love it. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thanks,
and
Steven.
we'll check
Cheers,
you
mate.
again for round 3. Moving on, we're going to bring our winner, Kieran Patterson. Kieran Patterson, the man, the myth, the legend, who ran away with the race. Kieran, how are you feeling with that one? So close to a PWSR 1-2-3 lockout, but you guys managing to score a first and second. But you were on form here at Brands Hatch. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good. A pity that Vincent couldn't be here tonight to replicate last week's nice tight race. But yeah, happy to always get the win, and stoked to have a teammate in P2 and P5.
So I've got a question. How was your race? If you can sum it up, you were battling through. You had to carve through some back markers and trying to not lose time. From your perspective, that start was a little bit wild, where you had to go very, very defensive. Take us through the start.
Yeah, well, I didn't really have to go too defensive. I mean, I looked to my left and I didn't see anyone there, so I thought, well, they don't want to race me, so let me just get out their way and drive away. But I say for the rest of the crew, especially around such a tight track like Brands Hatch, they did well. For those that got through all the chaos, they did really well.
Well, surprisingly, it was a clean turn 1, turn 2 here at Brands Hatch, which is something we don't usually get to see. You had your second place driver drop out, but still had some cars keeping a very close eye on you. What's your plan heading into Barcelona to try and get a little bit of run for next week?
Plan as per usual, always try and get the win, to be honest. But I think the Ferrari has got quite a bit of extra ballast in the car at that track, so it does quite well on its own. So, but in saying that, the Ferrari is a little bit of one of those slow cars in a straight line. So yeah, we're gonna have to be a little bit wary of cars coming in to catch us down that main straight. But yeah, we'll make a couple of changes to the car, and hopefully we get the win, the W again.
Absolutely glad to hear the positivity, and like in usual fashion, Mike is open to challenge anyone. You're allowed to go and get a little bit more challenging guys, or put it out there, give it a little bit of a banter, but just remember to keep it PG. Mike is yours to say what you would like.
No, I just want to say well done to everyone that raced. It's nice to see that the league is growing more and more every week, which is great to see. Pity that it's not always the full grid that we expect. So hopefully Vincent can be back next week to have a little bit more of a dice. And yeah, I want to see more of the original top guys up there coming and racing as well. Why not? It's a great league, great pace, and yeah, let's help grow it.
Well, let's see if some of the young guns can also come and challenge you, despite you holding a few crowns as well. Kieran Patterson from PWSR. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Kieran, for having being in the comm box, and also thank you very much for participating as well. Looking forward to seeing what the PWSR team can do come next week. So, moving to our next driver, let's bring in Russ. So, Russ is everybody. For anyone that doesn't know Russ, he designed all of the artwork you see on the screen. He is also a man that had designed the liveries, and in doing so, he did limit his track time. But Russ, how are you feeling? And first things first, getting to see everything come to life after spending a bit of time, how does that make you feel? I mean, it must be a bit of a proud moment.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just a shame that this new livery is a curse for me, apparently. So, apparently this livery makes my car a bit wider, and the track apparently doesn't. It gets narrower as the livery comes closer. But yeah, it's. I mean, it's quite surreal seeing that a little passion of yours, basically two hobbies and two passions of yours are combined, and really didn't expect any of the turnout that we got for the races. I mean, I think now we're sitting at over 70 drivers who've registered, and we're still climbing every week. And I mean, the qualifying from first to like 15 for a point, well, 1 second out of each other. So we clearly have the talent there, and we clearly have, you know, the passion for racing amongst all of us. So it's just, yeah, it's quite surreal. It's quite a proud moment, in my opinion.
And, you know, another proud moment is we so far have like 12 viewers that have been watching. It's been bouncing. We've had 73 people and growing, just going and watching in both the AM and in the Pro. But with Brands Hatch being that little bit of a don't want to talk about it race, what's the plan for round 3?
Well, round 3 is Barcelona, and I think you are quite familiar with my Barcelona days. I'm not a fan. Barcelona for me is just too boring and just too difficult in the same sense. So Barcelona, it's stay in the back, fight for last place. That's my plan.
Keep it going, keep it alive, and keep having a bit of fun. So, Russ, like in usual fashion, we're going to give you an open mic. Yes, it's very dangerous to give open mics to people, but keep it PG. We've got a couple of kids watching. But is there anything you would like to say to all the race fans out there?
I just want to say congrats to Darren Miller. Great defending from him, great racing from him. I think for about 10 laps we raced each other, and then I made a mistake on my own. Great congrats to Chip Carl and Michael for their high positions. And great recovery drive from Johan. I think he spun out in lap 1, dropped to 16th, and I think he ended up 7 for 8. So great drive from him. And yeah, congrats to Kieran Patterson again. Great race. So hopefully we can see Vincent now next race up there as well. Give him some bit of a competition.
Absolutely tremendous. Russ is for everyone. And if you want to go and find him, he's usually got the Mr. Bean little icon. Great guy. Russ, thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing what happens next week and all the fun little chats that can come from it as well.
Definitely. And thanks for commentating. Great job. Appreciate it.
Wait till you hear it. Then you might be saying something different. All right. Big thank you to Russ. Moving on for our final drive of the evening, a driver that I actually haven't had the honours to go and chat to. So to a driver that, well, for the first time, we're actually getting to have voice-to-voice is Carl DeWitt. Carl, welcome to the commentary box. First time I'm interviewing you, but what a race on your part. No, the honour is all, you know, you're the driver that really stuck it out there, having some side-by-side racing of note. How are you feeling, and are you worn out?
Yeah, definitely. I think my wrist is a bit sore than normal. So it was a very hectic race in the McLaren. I didn't expect that result, to be honest. If there was a race I wanted to throw away, it's probably this one. But somehow, some way, I just put the car on the track and it just worked today. So, yeah.
I mean, we're watching one of your side-by-side moments right now where you got stuck on the outside. Michael was looking up on the inside through Podium Hill into T1. He loses out the drive. Charles Dalton gets onto the back of him. But outside through Podium Hill, That is brave. You're out on the marbles. There's no grip there. You're in a McLaren, which, let's be honest, you already shot yourself in the foot there.
Yeah.
How was it in the car at that specific point going, well, I'm on the outside?
To be honest, I kind of thought I'd give up the corner and just see what happened. But as I just turned in, the car just gripped up. The tires just gripped. The car felt really good. I did some long runs before, and the car didn't feel that good as today. So when the car gripped up, I just said, you know what? Just lick the stamp and send it, and I just did it.
That was very, very impressive. And as a person that loves Brands Hatch, I've never been able to do that. Well, no, I've done that once, but that was in a much slower car. But that was, that was going a quarter of your speed. But I don't know how you managed to get it. Looking forward to seeing what you can do. Round 3 coming up. It's going to be exciting times. Now, here's where it gets a bit of fun. We're going to leave you with an open mic. You're allowed to challenge. You're allowed to thank. You're allowed to throw a little bit of shade out there as well. Get a little bit risky. But keep it PG because we do have a couple of kids watching. Mike is all yours.
All right. I just want to say thanks to all the ZRC members. Essie, Ruan, Johan, everyone. You guys did a great job. And to the rest of the team, you guys are awesome. And then to my beautiful fiance that supports me while I'm doing this, I love you a lot. So thank you for supporting me in my sim racing. And then, hopefully the ZRC team can tidy it up and maybe take the championship at the end of the season.
Well, absolutely tremendous stuff. I'm guessing your fiance is sitting next to you that's listening to this. So soon to be Mrs. DeWitt. Thank you for joining us. And also, thank you for supporting the driver. Looking forward to actually seeing her jump in the seat. So maybe you got a little bit of a challenge on your hand here. Just saying. Anything can happen. We've seen the battle of the houses on track once before. So awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Carl. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you for the next one.
Cool. Thanks, Stephen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that concludes our racing for this evening and the first official major broadcast of the ZRC GT3 Season 1. A big thank you to our volunteers that went and got that all broadcasted. Absolutely love it. Send as many likes as possible that direction because show some support. It's always good. Really is. But to everyone out there, thank you very much, boys and girls. We'll see you for the next one, which we will be heading out, as you heard, to Barcelona. We're going to be having a bit of fun out there. We're going to be causing a bit of chaos. We're going to be enjoying the sunshine at Circuit de Barcelona, Caption, and see who will be able to get it all the way to the top. Will there be a fight out? Will the drivers be able to keep it all out on circuit? We'll find out next week, same time, 8:15, and registrations are still open. So if you want to come and throw your hats into it, go and join in. Go and hit that Discord and the comments. Head over to SimGP, look up Zodiac Racing Community or ZRC, or even head over to the MSA website, which is Sim Racing tab. It will take you to a website. You can see all ZRC along with all the connections of how to join with this amazing community. But for myself, Stephen Koenig, we'll see you next time right at Barcelona. And for the first time in 2024, I got goosebumps. I think I've shaken off some of the rust. Maybe dropped a few nuts and bolts in the process. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.